This one strategy helped my customers double their revenue in just 14 months. Want to know what the strategy is? D2C, that's direct to customers, or e-commerce integration with SAP Business One. Now, SAP Business One, on one hand, is a very powerful ERP solution for mid-market companies and mid and small-size companies. You all know it streamlines business operation and provides core functionalities like finance, banking, accounts, purchase, inventory, sales, service, and customer relationships. On the other hand, customizable e-commerce platforms or D2C softwares like Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, Commerce Cloud from Salesforce, BigCommerce are very powerful applications which can provide you e-commerce functionalities. Now, if you are a manufacturing business or a trading business trying to be a direct to customer by removing distributors, retailers, and multiple hands involved between you and the end customer, by which you can benefit and impact the end customers and at the same time increase your sales, then all you need to do is make sure that you integrate your e-commerce platform with SAP Business One. Now, integrating an ERP application like SAP Business One with an e-commerce solution is a very strategic move that companies can make to achieve operational efficiency, enhance customer satisfaction, and at the same time achieve a tremendous scale in business. Now, integrating an ERP application like SAP with an e-commerce solution is a very strategic move by which companies can achieve operational efficiency and excellence, customer satisfaction, and a phenomenal scale in business growth. Hi, my name is Raman and I'm from a company called Emerging Alliance, an SAP authorized channel partner. In my experience of working with more than 1,500 plus companies in the past 25 years, I have seen a complete evolution of the e-commerce application and how those e-commerce applications, when integrated with SAP Business One, has helped organizations and companies completely transform the way in which they have conducted their business and scaled their business. Point to be noted, I have witnessed some very phenomenal, mind-blowing scaling of business. Let's dive deep into the video. In this video, I'm going to explain you the why, the when, the what, and the how of integrating SAP Business One with an e-commerce solution. Now, why integrate an application like SAP Business One with e-commerce solution? Number one, streamlined operations. Integration would eliminate manual intervention and so reduce error and save time. The synchronization of orders, invoices, and payment are all in real time, and this has a great streamlining effect on the business. The second point is real-time data synchronization. Now, integration ensures real-time data synchronization, whether it is inventory, orders, delivery status, payments, or returns. Now, this is very, very key for a business which is on e-commerce to ensure that the e-commerce platform and ERP solution always stays synchronized in real time. The third point is scalability. Integration of e-commerce platform with SAP Business One ensures that a company can handle larger volume of orders, or which definitely cannot be achieved with the e-commerce and ERP solution which are disconnected. And please note, all of this can be achieved without any additional manpower. And finally, the fourth point, enhanced decision-making capabilities. Now, since all your data is centralized across both the platform, your ability to see what's happening in an e-commerce business is centralized. And hence, you can make a very informed decision when you have the e-commerce platform integrated with a solution like SAP Business One. Now, let's come to the when should we integrate an e-commerce application with SAP Business One. Point number one, experiencing high business volumes. Now, whenever a business starts facing high business volume, high order volumes, then it's an indication that you cannot have a separate e-commerce platform and separate SAP Business One, because that would just multiply the manual work required, or that will just increase the kind of errors that people would be making of taking data from one system and putting in another system. So that's the first indication, which is when you're experiencing high volume of business. The second point is when your business is managing multiple sales channel, like you have a storefront, you have a distributor network, you have a dealer network, you have an e-commerce platform, and you also have a B2B network. So when you have multiple channels, then it's an indication that you should have an integration between your e-commerce platform and SAP Business One. The third indication or point is when your business is struggling with errors and delays because of having an unintegrated, because of having a non-integrated e-commerce platform and ERP. Frequent mistake which happens because of manual intervention. When you don't have an integration, results in customer dissatisfaction. It might be because of the payment confirmation or no delivery information reaching him, or the return of goods, or the returns are messed up, and so on. So when a business is facing a lot of errors because of no integration and a lot of delays, then it's an indication that you should start planning for integration of e-commerce solution and SAP Business One. The last and the fourth point is when you as a business are planning to scale, are planning to have a phenomenal growth, then you should plan and start integrating your e-commerce platform with SAP Business One. Now let's come to the what. What should be integrated between an e-commerce platform and SAP Business One? Number one, and the most important one, is order management. So orders created in an e-commerce platform should automatically, in real time, I repeat, in real time, should get replicated into the ERP system. Orders created in the e-commerce platform should automatically get replicated, and that too in real time in SAP Business One. Now this is the start point, and this is very, very critical. Now second one is inventory synchronization. Now it's very critical that the items which are available for sale in your e-commerce platform should reflect the inventory status available in your ERP system. Now it would be quite absurd that you receive an order for an item which is available for sale in e-commerce platform, whereas you don't have a stock for that in your ERP system. So it is very, very critical that there should be a perfect real-time synchronization of inventory between both e-commerce system and SAP Business One. Product catalog management or item master management. Whether you create an item in your e-commerce platform, that should get replicated in real time in your ERP solution. And similarly, when you create an item in SAP Business One, the same should get replicated in your e-commerce platform. Now this is very, very critical. Then comes customer management. Once again, customers created in e-commerce platform should be available in your SAP Business One, and the customers created in your SAP Business One should be available in your e-commerce platform. The fifth point, and a very key one, is invoicing and payments. Now, once again, this should be very tightly coupled. So payments made on the e-commerce platform should immediately hit your SAP Business One, and the reference number and the invoice number should get replicated back to your e-commerce platform so that the customer gets to see it. The sixth and the last point is shipping and fulfillment details. Whenever your product gets shipped or delivered, the status which is posted in ERP solution, the status which is posted in SAP Business One should immediately get replicated into the e-commerce platform, and the customer should be able to view it. If there are further details like the courier details or the logistics details, even that should be replicated so that the customer who's basically interfacing with the e-commerce platform gets to know what is happening with his order. Now, those are the 6 fundamental and key points on what should be integrated. Now, there are a lot of other things which are applicable. What I'm telling you is the core 80% which is required in all e-commerce integrations with SAP Business One. Now, let's come to the how. How does SAP Business One integrate with an e-commerce platform? Now, there are a lot of ways available. I'm not going to go in all of it. I'm going to tell you 2 ways in which 90% of the integration happens globally. The first one is go for a standard established connector which is available in the market. Now, the beauty of it is you will take very less time when you go with a standard established connector. The flip side is you will not be able to integrate if there are any customizations that you have done in either the e-commerce solution or in your SAP Business One. It is okay to go for a connector. The second one is custom API development. Now, if you are a business which has unique ordering process and you are a niche, or in the other hand, you've done a lot of customization in your SAP Business One, then you should go for an API integration. Both the e-commerce platforms like Magento, WooCommerce, Shopify, Cloud Commerce from Salesforce. So choose one of these two methodologies. As I told you, if you have a standard application that you're using at both the ends, or at least one end, which is the e-commerce platform, then go for a standard connector. And if you think that your business has a complex, sophisticated, customized order processing, then go for an API integration. Now that we have seen the why, when, what, and how, let's quickly look into the steps that you need to follow to ensure that you have a successful and great integration between an e-commerce solution and SAP Business One. Now, I'll try to give it to you like a checklist so that when you do an e-commerce integration, you can always check those boxes that these points have been adhered. Number one is a requirement analysis. Please ensure that you have a very clear requirement analysis done of what is required from an e-commerce solution with respect to SAP Business One and what is required in SAP Business One with regards to the e-commerce solution. Now, this requirement list should be very clear. Number two, be very clear about the integration methodology. Is it going to be an API integration or a connector-based integration? So if it's going to be an API integration, there are different set of vendors or service providers that you need to look at. And if it's a pre-built connector-based integration, then there is a different set of vendors or IT service provider that you need to look at. The second one is a product, and the first one is a service or a customization service that's going to be done only for you. The third one is ensure that your systems are prepared. Might it be the e-commerce solution or the Business One solution? Ensure that they are upgraded. The latest patches are implemented. The latest upgrades are in place. Do not get into a situation where you have an old upgrade on either side or where there are some patches to be implemented on either side. Keep the systems upgraded. Prepare them to the most recent upgrades and patches. Before you get into an integration mode, ensure that all your data is backed up so that if there's any eventuality happening, you always can go back to those two independent systems and start from where you left. So prepare your systems. That's the third point on the checklist. The fourth one is integration. The fourth one is the actual integration that you're trying to do. When you do the integration, now it's very difficult for you to understand how an IT service provider will basically integrate. So as people who know your business, please ensure that you ask the engineers who basically integrate to give you a field mapping document. A field mapping document is something where an integrator or an integration expert will tell you for these fields which are available in the e-commerce solution, it will get integrated to these fields. For these screens and the fields inside the screen in e-commerce solution, what are the respective screens and fields in SAP Business One? And similarly, vice versa. What's available in SAP Business One? What is its respective field in the e-commerce solution? Now, this is a field mapping document. So an integration expert or the engineer should be able to give you this document, and this is something that you should be able to understand. It's not a technical document, it's a very functional document, and business stakeholders and business owners should be able to understand this. Now, once the integration is established in a test environment, it's very critical that you validate the integration. So there should be validation to build a proper UAT document, user acceptance testing document, wherein deploy multiple users who try to make entries in an e-commerce platform and should get replicated in SAP Business One. And similarly, you try to make entries in SAP Business One. Validation, just not on transferring information from one platform to other solution. There should be also a stress test done, which is like you try to do multiple entries in a given short frame of time. Now, there are a lot of tools available to do this. We'll not go deep into it, but now, this is something that you ask for to your integration partner or to your integration supplier. The sixth point on the checklist is deployment. Ensure that the deployment is done in a very sustainable infrastructure. It might be cloud or your on-premise server, or you can have one application in on-premise and one application in cloud. Whatever suits you well from the security aspect, from the load aspect, and from your cost aspect, you can go for it. But be very clear on how you want to deploy it, and the deployment strategy should take into account the scalability of this integration in future. The last one is training. The training to all users of how to operate the integration. training to administrators on how to give authorizations and how to take off authorizations, and training to IT experts in your company on troubleshooting some issues happening with integration. And ensure that these 7 points are well ticked in your checklist so that you don't have any problem when you go live on your integration. So that pretty much gives you all the details on why, when, what, how, and the steps involved in integrating an e-commerce platform with SAP Business One. SAP Business One's integration with an e-commerce platform is a game changer, especially for business which are aiming to scale their business, streamline operations, enhance customer experience, and improve efficiency without any additional manpower. By automating critical processes on both sides, the e-commerce as well as SAP Business One, and synchronizing data in real time, business can definitely eliminate inefficiency and focus only on growth. Now, if you are a business which is planning to start direct to customers, or already doing a D2C, or having a well-established e-commerce solution and trying to move to something larger, much better, then please talk to us. We'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one session with you, face-to-face, trying to understand what is your requirement and give you a solution. Our coordinates and contact details are available in the description below. Thank you, and look forward to meeting you once again in an interesting video on SAP Business One.